Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 24th of May 2023. So I get quite a lot of comments under these videos here, really saying things along the lines of I'm too optimistic, I'm not realistic, I'm not looking at the big picture, not seeing all of the bad things that are going on around me. And yeah, I suppose the basic message is I'm too optimistic. But there is a reason why I have got this optimism. Even in the very darkest days of 2020, early 2021, I was still, even back then, I was still confident that we would win. I don't ask me how I knew it, and don't get me wrong, I certainly had plenty of dark days, days of pessimism, days of fear, whatever you want to call it. I just had a lot of those days, a lot of black pill days, a lot of sleepless nights, nightmares, etc. But even then, I knew right down sort of in the sort of pit of my stomach, I call it a gut feeling, whatever you like. Even then, I knew that good would prevail and the powers that shouldn't be would be thwarted eventually, and that we will win this thing. I suppose part of the reason why I think this, and the feeling's only grown ever more stronger as I've seen just how many people we've got on our side and how those numbers are just growing every single day. And it's remarkable just how many people are out there doing so many different things, such a variety of things to help our cause and push it on forward. Whether it's making videos like this, organising various groups, whether it's a new Telegram group or even some kind of new hub where people meet to do various activities, whether it's just socializing or sort of there's musical groups now, all kinds of things, food growing groups. It's just such a rich diversity of in the freedom movement, of all kinds of people doing all kinds of different things. And I just think it's fantastic, and it's just kind of confirmed to me, or reaffirmed to me, that we will win this thing. There's a couple of things we need to be on our guard against, though. What the powers that shouldn't be would love to do is, well, the whole divide and conquer thing, to split us up into smaller groups and then split those groups up into even smaller groups, and each of these small groups doesn't want to have anything to do with some other groups, other small groups, even though we're all basically on the same side. And I've seen this happen. Some of the groups I've been a part of have kind of split apart and gone their separate ways and don't really want to know as far as the other groups are concerned, which personally I find is a great pity. I thought, back 18 months ago when we were all one big happy family, how great that was. People seem to have split up and gone their own separate ways, and I think that doesn't do our overall cause any good, and it's what the powers that shouldn't be want. But it is what it is, I guess. These things happen, and you can't help people and the way they think and their emotions, etc. But it is something we should be on our guard against, and we need to build bridges. If there have been rifts, maybe build bridges within the movement to make us stronger and sort of make sure that the victory that I think we will get eventually actually does take place. And Other things we need to be on a guard against is obviously other tricks that the powers that shouldn't be play, and I just can't. And this is another area of progress. There's so many ridiculous things going on during the early days of the nonsense, and one of these ridiculous things that I was reminded of just this weekend gone is, do you remember when they brought in the rule where you couldn't sing? They said, oh, you can't sing, otherwise you'll kill people. And how utterly stupid was that? And how stupid did they think we were? And how stupid was that diktat? It was just, how did we put up with this kind of stuff? It just beats me. But I think going forward there will be a lot less people who will go along with that kind of thing now. If they kind of brought in more nonsense and they said stupid things like that, oh, you're not allowed to sing, you've got to go home, be home and out of the pub and home by 9 o'clock, and you can't drink unless you have a substantial meal with that drink, etc. There will just be so many more people who sort of think, no, you're just talking nonsense. Well, even worse than that, it's actually kind of a psychological tactic that the powers that shouldn't be have to confuse people and ultimately make them comply. So all of that kind of thing was really psychological trickery. But yeah, we're awake to it now, and more people, as we spread the word, are waking up to it as well. And I think, should they ever try lockdowns again, any kind of nonsense again, because I see that idiot from the Whiskey Hotel, Oscar, the person who runs that, who many think is just an utterly corrupt sort of type of person, he's been sort of making noises about the next lurgy and how it could well be way worse than the one we've had over the last 3 years. So they could possibly try their nonsense on again, but there's so many more people awake and to that kind of nonsense, and there's more people waking up to it every single day. And like I said right at the start of this video, I am confident that we're going to win. And again, over the weekend I heard this fantastic poem. I don't think it's totally new. I think it predates the nonsense by quite a few years, but it really does illustrate how I think things are happening in the world. So what I'll do is, when I'm indoors later on, I'll sit down, I'll get the poem up on my laptop and I'll read it out to you. But when I heard it over the weekend, I found it very powerful, and it illustrates what I actually think is going on in the world and why we're going to win this thing. So bear with me, and I'll be back in a bit with this poem. Okay, so back indoors here, and as promised, here's that poem. So it's got kind of two titles: Love is the New Religion, or The Spiritual Conspiracy. So here we go. On the surface of the world right now, there is war and violence, and things seem dark. But calmly and quietly, at the same time, something else is happening underground. An inner revolution is taking place, and certain individuals are being called to a higher light. It is a silent revolution from the inside out, from the ground up. It is time for me to reveal myself. I am an embedded agent of a secret, undercover, clandestine global operation, a spiritual conspiracy. We have sleeper cells in every nation on the planet. You won't see us on the TV. You won't read about us in the newspaper. You won't hear about us on the radio.
We don't seek any glory. We don't wear any uniform. We come in all shapes and sizes, colours and styles. Most of us work anonymously. We are quietly working behind the scenes in every country and culture of the world. Cities big and small, mountains and valleys, in farms and villages, tribes and remote islands. You could pass by one of us on the street and not even notice. We go undercover. We remain behind the scenes. It is of no concern to us who takes the final credit, but simply that the work gets done. Occasionally, we spot each other in the street. We give a quiet nod and continue on our way so no one will notice. During the day, many of us pretend we have normal jobs. But behind the false storefront at night is where the real work takes place. Some call us the conscious army. We are slowly creating a new world with the power of our minds and hearts. We follow with passion and joy our orders from the central command, the spiritual intelligence agency. We are dropping soft secret love bombs when no one's looking. Poems, hugs, music, photography, movies, kind words, smiles, meditation and prayer, dance, social activism, websites, blogs, random acts of kindness. We each express ourselves in our own unique ways with our own unique gifts and talents. Be the change you want to see in the world. That is the motto that fills our hearts. We know it is the only way real transformation takes place. We know that quietly and humbly we have the power of all the oceans combined. Our work is slow and meticulous, like the formation of mountains. It's not even visible at first glance, and yet with it entire tectonic plates shall be moved in the centuries to come. Love is the new religion of the 21st century. You don't have to be a highly educated person or have any exceptional knowledge to understand it. It comes from the intelligence of the heart, embedded in the timeless evolutionary pulse of all human beings. Be the change you want to see in the world. Nobody else can do it for you. We are now recruiting. Perhaps you will join us, or already have. All are welcome. The door is open. That was from Brian Piergrossi. And yeah, I think that poem really does show what we're all about, and it's really why I am so optimistic and have been all through this, because just that is the future, isn't it? The future of the world. And yeah, I think all we need to do is just keep doing what we're doing, and yeah, the future is going to be radically different from what the powers that shouldn't be want it to be and what they're expecting, and the future will be ours. So hope that's been a little message of hope for you today. Gonna leave it. Back soon. Tim from Fair Play Now. Thanks for watching.